Hello once again. Welcome to Shocking On Toy Reviews. I am Wilson, but I still am joined by my better half. You are my better half now.
Wow.
Toast.
Toast.
All right. And Toast, of course you know what this thing is that we're reviewing. This is a third-party Transformer. It's the Unique Toys Transformers 5 Megatron. I believe his fake name is Dragon or Dragoon.
I knew all of that.
Yeah, of course. And this is their version. Now, anybody familiar with the third-party Unique Toys movie guys know they've already done The Lockdown and they've done Transformers 5 Optimus. Both of those are really, really good. Is this guy as good? Well, let's see. This is his huge space shuttle mode. He's got a huge wide wingspan. There's a lot of kind of connecting tabs and stuff. This one I didn't put in too well. So it's hastily transformed. He's got great little copper and gold, kind of gold, paint and highlights on areas. There's some really good sculpting of Cybertronian symbols in these parts, and even some line work and texture work all the way down here. On the back here, they actually made this area, which is like near the bottom of the foot, kind of look like jets, which is a good idea. This down here is a little problematic. Now you can turn the head around and it'll still sort of transform, just not as well.
All right.
It's covered well enough, and I believe if there's two pieces too that could probably fold and cover it more. It doesn't bother me. I mean, when am I going to look? Other than when I'm running around the house playing with it, I'm going to rarely look at the rear of this. That's the underside for anybody who cares. You can see more of parts of the robot. It'll give you an idea if you're familiar with how the character looks. His giant arm cannon does go on top in this area. Some odd reason they gave it a chain. More on that later, but it plugs into there. And the cannon itself too is painted really nicely with little bits of gold and sculpted. It looks really good. If you put batteries in it, it's got a light up feature. So that's that.
Is the shield currently attached to him?
No. So he comes with the shield and the sword, neither attached to him in any way that I can find in this mode. Oh, he does have a cool little landing gear gimmick. It's pretty tight. So that was one thing I was sort of disappointed with, because like even the Hasbro ones, you can stick the sword on somewhere, you know?
Yeah, usually.
But Unique Toys hasn't really done that with any of the others, so it's not really a surprise. But this is pretty accurate from what I've remember and have seen from the movie, and it actually kind of resembles Hasbro's leader version. Oh, also, this cockpit opens. There's actual sculpted stuff in there, sort of. It could have used paint, I think would have been cool, but...
Sure. So I am the color breakup guy, once again, and I think there's enough here. The designs, I'm not usually impressed with the live-action Transformer designs, but I think there's enough color breakup here. Still makes it stand out, not be bland, not be lost in just a sea of beigey gray.
Mm-hmm. And just for size comparison, I have the Unique Toys Optimus Prime from Transformers 4/5. You can see he is big in this mode. Robot mode, very big boy. Now, I don't like to go into transformation stuff, as people who regularly watch this show know. But I think there are some important things to sort of point out on this guy. What's awesome is, just like their other two movie figures, looking at this, there's no way to tell how the fuck they got that giant plane and those huge wings compacted all into this bot. I mean, this is his back.
True.
Right? And like, look at this. So you can see gold hints and pieces in here. His front of his chest is painted. He's got the paint from the scar from the movie. But I do want to point out the wings are folded up and hidden in his calves here.
All right.
There's this screw here, which is just below the knee. That sticks into there, right? And that keeps the knee in place. So when you're transforming it, this comes out, and then this is how you start. Basically what happens is the top part here of the leg moves out, and then this bottom part comes out here. They're both on tiny screws like this that twist.
Okay.
My worry is that with enough use and transformation over time, that if this is a bad screw in here, that's going to snap. And either the screw will snap or the plastic will snap, and then you'll have that loose piece in there. I do like that that tabs in. It keeps his knee from being floppy. But when I did get my copy, these were still a little loose. So what I did was actually I did tighten that screw. But again, tightening that makes me nervous because then transforming it, it'll be tighter to move. So it's just something to be aware of. But other than that, I mean, he is very, very impressive. I thought that when I looked at their Optimus and was like, how the fuck? Like, does that turn into a truck? I was even more baffled when I got this thing. Like, I was like, I'm going to have to read the instructions. And actually, his transformation, I believe, I would say out of the 3 Unique Toys ones, it's the most complicated. You can still memorize it after 2 transformations. I think I got it down with maybe just having to glance at the instructions briefly to make sure I had something the right way.
That's good.
What they don't show you in the instructions is he does have a mask face that you can do. And it's very much like Optimus, only a little harder. When you first get him, this is on really tight. But you can pull this up. You gotta make sure that the side things here are pulled back towards the helmet. You turn, get his head turned around like that. I turn the helmet around too. So you want to leave the helmet on straight, but you turn the face around and then push this down and then push the 2 mass pieces together. And so then you got masked Megatron. And that's really clever. That saves you having to swap out a head. I like that feature. I love it. It's something they do really, really nicely. And it works great. Again, this is part of it. It's a piece for the transformation. It doesn't make the foot completely flat, but he still doesn't have problems standing.
No.
So that was one thing I was worried about. Very impressive overall. Any thoughts?
So he is very large, much larger than I was expecting. I have not seen the movie, so I don't know how accurate he is to the source material, but he is impressive. The one thing that surprised me is really how light he is.
Yes.
For the size, I was expecting heavier.
That is one of my kind of complaints because their Optimus is heavier than him.
But we know he's not hollow.
Right, but Optimus has a lot more die-cast and metal pieces. He doesn't. And I think he could actually use some.
This piece is...
It's really soft, yeah.
Right, it's almost rubberish, but it's got to be plastic.
Yeah. It just has a bend to it, which actually is kind of nice because it allows you to get the leg forward enough. So let's go into movement then. Head is on some kind of, it's like I don't want to say hinge. It's not really a ball joint. There's a screw going through a part. It lets you move it up and down and side to side real well. These are very nicely articulated. They go up. There's a ball joint right here, so you can move all his shoulder pieces around when you're moving his arm, which is nicely ratcheted out to the side, not forward. He's got ratcheted elbows.
Double jointed.
Double jointed right there. No real bicep swivel. And then turning at the wrist. Each finger is not individually articulated, just the thumb and the pointer finger. These are all one piece. He can point down. For his waist, he can get some side to side. You have to deal with these pieces. These pieces are oddly on a spring system that's on a ball joint, so they move out of the way, but they just have a tendency to pop up, which is annoying. But it's nothing you can't deal with. His skirt flaps move out and in, and he can also twist left and right a little bit. He's got ratcheted legs out to the side. That one stays up a little better than this one does. He does have thigh swivel up in here. He's got the double knee joint, and that's even with it plugged in the right way.
It's a very smooth joint.
Yeah. Then the foot, there's some side to side. and you're not going to get it. You got some toe, but you're not going to get any forward and backward. But you don't really need it because he just stands really well. This is the arm cannon we looked at earlier. Very nicely done. Like I said, I can't remember what kind of batteries you put in there. It does say in the instructions, but it'll light up blue, I believe. Odd choice, this, and an annoying choice, is to give this thing a fucking chain.
Is that in the movie?
No. No other version of this toy has had any kind of connecting tube. But for some reason, they give it to you and they show you where it plugs in the ship mode. They don't show you what to do with this chain when it's on his arm. And I just plug it into the hole here, which is where you plug it in ship mode. Ship mode, when you use a spaceship. And it fits perfectly, but it's pointless. It's fucking pointless and annoying. It sticks out like a sore thumb. Take that metal, put it somewhere in his fucking body.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get it. It doesn't need to be. It's not like the thing's unstable being in his arm. True. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's no purpose for it. But
it looks kind of cool, but it gets in the way.
Then he actually comes with a shield, which I believe he may have used in the movie at one point. I'm sure once you watch it, you'll let me know, right?
I'll let you know.
Yeah, okay. It's got some great gold trim around the edges. All of it done very nicely, and the sculpting on it's cool. And that can tab into either arm. Again, the hole's there. Very nice. And you can get cool blocking poses. And I believe this can also store, on his back. There's a little peg hole right there. Store it on his back, and you are good to go. And then looking at his giant fuck you sword, very accurate to the movie. There's nice gold in here, which, again, done extremely well. Some strange, weird, like silver discoloration right there in the handle. You see that?
Oh, yeah.
I just noticed that. But it looks intentional.
Sort of.
Like it's so even. You see what I'm saying?
It comes out better on camera than in person.
Yeah.
So, how long have you had them?
2.5 weeks.
And you're only just noticing this now?
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
So it's more subtle than it appears on camera.
And this is very Masterpiece-esque. Anybody familiar with that? He's got the slot and then the tab. Goes in both hands, and he holds it really well. Ooh. And I would like to point out that both Lockdown and Optimus had very thin hands. Megatron does not. It's much improvement over the other two because those hands kind of just looked weird and had a funky kind of like limperous thing going on.
All right.
But this works really well, and they just had it because of transformation, I think. If you have his shield on him, there is a gap right there. There's the tab. Here's the sword. It's a kind of tight fit. I don't want to push it in too far, but it works. And then if you choose not to store his shield on his back, and if you want it, what I like is they put tabs on each side, and again you can put the sword on there, and it's at a slant, which this is the first one that I have of any kind that has his sword stored as a slant on the back. And that's very movie accurate, and I like that a lot. It's very nice, rather than just the up and down. All around, just the accessories you need. I wish they maybe would have given him the staff instead of the purple version of the Optimus. I can tell you have no fucking clue what I'm talking about.
I don't.
In the movie, there's Merlin's staff.
Oh, of course.
You get it with the purple variant of the Optimus. At one point, Megatron steals the staff. I don't know. I got a couple staffs that don't fucking matter. And then just to look at some size, you have Unique Toys offering of the Last Knight Optimus. This is Spinster from War for Cybertron. He's a deluxe. And then the official Masterpiece movie Ironhide. You can probably get the 1 foot. I don't know.
On the good knee?
On the good knee. If you bend the knee any, he probably won't stick it. But there it is. There's the 1 foot. If I want to try the other one real quick, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Again, you got the funky feet. it's going to be hard, but he does technically pass it.
I like this more than I thought I would, just because I don't really like the live action Transformers designs, like I said, but there's so much sculpt going on here. It's really impressive. I do kind of want to give it a black wash, just to give it some differentiation, because some of the color breakup that I was talking about in jet mode is lost in robot mode. He's much more monotone because some of the colored pieces wind up inside of his legs or in the torso. So I do think he needs something more in robot mode, just to break it up a bit more, because there's so much going on, and it would accent the sculpt. The sculpt is impressive. He moves well. I will share your worry, I suppose, about the knees in general, but I've handled him. He's impressive. I'll give him, say, 4.5.
Nice. Welcome to the dark side.
Doesn't mean I'm buying him.
All right, I'm giving him, I'm on the edge between a 4, 4.5. I think I'm going to go 4.5 for now. My biggest concern is that leg transformation over time, with either the plastic snapping or the screw snapping. Just knowing the quality of third-party toys, and from what I've witnessed with other things, other older third-party toys of mine, that similar kind of thing happens, especially considering that it's a very kind of tight turn there. When transforming this guy, he's going to take you a while. Take your time, move everything carefully, do your best, and good luck. But I love the switching of the faces. This has got to be the best masked face out of anything that I've seen. It works the best. The paint's cool. Hate the chain, really bothers me, but this has one of the best looking painted swords with this gold, and he's a beast. He's what I expected and wanted. Unique Toys continues to kill it with the movie stuff. Like, I'm telling you, they're kind of the go-to now for third-party movie guys. For the bit that I've had him, I've had a lot of fun with this guy. He's got LED features, which might explain why, now that I think about it, the less metal pieces in him.
Oh.
But that doesn't make sense either, because Optimus has a light-up head. The only other complaint is these getting loose. Sometimes you can tighten the screw. This display right here is exactly why I love this guy and love playing with these kind of toys. Hope you enjoyed it. Let us know what you think if you got this guy. Social media stuff is at the show notes. Check out the Instagram page if you want to see pictures of other toys or things that we sometimes work on. Thank you very much, and until next time, we hope Mr. Bird will be with us. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, go ahead and click the notification bell down below to be notified when new stuff goes live. Press on one of these videos or one of these videos, and up here to subscribe.